Don't be surprised if you're not seeing American goldfinches showing up at the thistle feeders in your backyard right now, because there are so many wonderful wild foods for the goldfinches to eat out in the countryside. Besides eating the ripening seeds of these Jerusalem artichokes here, I've recently seen American goldfinches eating the seeds of giant ragweed, stiff goldenrod, and sawtooth sunflowers, just to name a few. By the way, the American goldfinches now all look the same. They're in their winter plumage, so don't expect to see a bright gold and black goldfinch at your feeders either now until next spring, because the males and females are going to look about alike. These Jerusalem artichokes, by the way, are actually a type of sunflower, not an artichoke, though the tubers, which are edible for people too, are said to taste something like a real artichoke. So if you happen to know where there's a patch of Jerusalem artichokes, you could probably dig them up now, and they can be eaten raw or cooked. But anyway, watch for the American goldfinches on some of our little wild weed seeds now in October. I was somewhat surprised to see this eastern chipmunk climb way to the top of a giant ragweed plant and start eating the seeds the other day. You know, the eastern chipmunk, typical little woodland mammal here in northeast Iowa, and they love to eat acorns and other nuts, but I didn't expect them to be climbing way up to the top. You know, this giant ragweed, that plant was 7 feet tall, and it basically scurried right up the stem there and filled its cheeks full of those seeds. So, you know, sometimes we give the giant ragweed a bad rap, and of course it does. It is the source of hay fever for a lot of people. But, you know, besides the eastern chipmunks eating those seeds, American goldfinches that we talked about, black-capped chickadees, you know, a number of different birds will enjoy those seeds. So they're actually beneficial to have out in the countryside. If you don't have to cut them down, leave them be for the birds and wildlife. Our frogs and toads here in the driftless region are getting ready to hibernate for the winter. And they take several different strategies to survive until spring. Frogs, like say the green frog and the northern leopard frog, will be jumping into the ponds around here and basically burrowing down in the mud below the water in the bottom of the pond, and they'll stay there until next spring, safe and sound. Our tree frogs, like the spring peeper and the gray tree frog, they simply kind of crawl down beneath the leaf litter out in the forest and freeze solid. But they've got, you might say, antifreeze in their system that kind of keeps them alive anyway. And when spring rolls around, they just thaw out and head to the pond to start the mating cycle again. The American toad here is terrestrial, so this guy is going to be using his hind legs like a spade and digging a hole up to 3 feet deep down below the frost line where there is no danger of freezing, and then just go to sleep. And when spring comes and the ground warms up, that little toad right here will be again digging its way out and heading to the nearest wetland again to start the toad breeding cycle once again. So be watching for the frogs and toads as they hop towards our basically little ponds or find a place to hibernate for the winter season now.